Thank you, and first of all, thank you for having us over. It's been a great day so far. We'll be talking about a university distribution today, built on top of Thunder, which we're really excited about. My name is Thor Andre Gretland. I work as a consultant and project lead in frontkom, and I'm also a project lead for our distribution projects.
Yeah, I'm Roberto, and I'm the lead developer of this project.
Oh yes, so let's get going. So, short about frontkom. We are a full service agency where we basically do everything from, like digital strategy, wireframing, design, and full development, implementations, and hosting and maintenance. So we're about 20 people. We are located in 2 cities in Norway, Fredrikstad and Oslo, where I am. And we have also an office in Portugal, where Roberto is usually. Our typical client, our biggest clients are media houses. We're doing lots of projects for them. We're also heavily in the medical sector, where security is very important, obviously, where we do both websites and mobile apps and things like that. And of course, we work with universities and colleges. We've done that for several years, so building lots of knowledge on that. And we're generally open source focused. Most of our work is on Drupal, but we also do some work on other platforms and open source frameworks. So, in this session, we'll go through the background of the work we did with building this distribution. We'll talk about the research we did on other distributions and so on. We'll have a look at the actual features that will go into the distribution. And in the end, we'll have a brief look at the roadmap for the upcoming time. So, well, as I mentioned, we have worked with university sites for a long time. We were thinking, yeah, we should contribute some way, build some sort of distribution that is, great for a university. So, where to start? What's a typical university site? Well, it's not. It's not typical. So, where do we begin? Well, we know that flexibility is important, obviously. But of course, there are some common things, some common needs across them. And at the point we started this work, there wasn't really a full distro out there for Drupal 8 for universities. So we decided, let's get going on that. So, of course, the goal for distribution would obviously be to make a distribution that would lower costs for creating great university websites. And we would like to put our experience into code and contribute that back. So, we started off with some research. We checked out several distributions, but among them were these ones. We had a look at OpenSocial, which is a Drupal 8 distribution. We had a look at OpenEDU, which is really interesting. And we had the Lightning distribution for Drupal 8, and also, obviously, Thunder. So, OpenSocial. It's a distribution for social websites, basically. But it's got some very interesting functionalities. So we digged into that. There are obvious things like using groups, to define sort of a hierarchy for roles and things like that. But also, OpenSocial come with, interesting features that we knew that we would need at some point, like creating events, doing mentions and notifications to users, maybe even the activity feed at some point. And OpenEDU.
Oh yeah, so the OpenEDU it's been around for a long time, and since Drupal 7. When we started the research, there was no Drupal 8, but in DrupalCon we talked with ImageX. They are doing like a great work with OpenEDU, and we checked like their Drupal 8 distribution. We were quite impressed by the quality of their features, but that was not quite the direction we were head to. It was quite opinionated, and we are more like looking to having a distribution that could be like a content hub and doesn't try to do like everything inside Drupal. Also, yeah, we were like looking forward for optimal editorial experience. So the next distribution that like we already started working with Thunder at the beginning of the year, and we were quite impressed, by the editorial experience. Also, in the middle of the process, we did some upgrades, and we found out it was like really well built, and we could, upgrade our projects without breaking changes. And overall, it's less opinionated, and the components are like optional, and you can add, remove stuff. It's easier to do that with Thunder.
So we're considering this idea of let's make a distro on top of another distro. Of course, things that we considered earlier there was what is the long-term risk here? What if Thunder at some point, changed direction somehow, and how would we handle that? But well, Thunder is killer. So there are some really good things going on there that, and we're quite confident that it will go in the right direction also for the future, and also the fact that it's very flexible, easy to turn on and off things, so we could basically work around that if it should be an issue at some point.
Yeah, and it was also like an opportunity to contribute back to Thunder and to a wider community, and having like your code in use by more people, and also tested by more people. So you contribute back, you benefit others, and you benefit from others. That was great opportunity for us. The challenge with having a sub distro is about the base profile, which is not quite possible in Drupal. I see Daniel was on that issue. So there's a working patch. It's already being used by OpenEDU, so it's very solid. So yeah, with our distribution, we also test the waters and eventually contribute back if we can, and to make that patch into the core and make it possible to have like a base profile for profiles. And we believe that that patch will change the ecosystem, and we see a lot of like variants coming around for distributions.
So one of the things we had to dig into, and that we also had an open discussion with the OpenEDU people, is whether should we build like a starter pack for universities? Basically, you install it and you tweak it, you modify it, how much you want. But after that, you're on your own. You get some good stuff to get going, but after that, you sort of update the modules yourself and keep everything as you'd like. Or should we go for like the full product distro? Basically, meaning that we needed an upgrade path for things in the future if you're changing stuff, and also like continuously publish new releases for universities to update. And well, we ended up in going for the full product distro approach, even though it requires more maintenance, obviously. But then again, if we're already working with several universities, actually in the long run, we probably end up even saving time working that way. Since when some of them get some new features in, probably the others want the same as well. And it just feels better, a better way to communicate, or I mean, contribute back to the community. So, let's have a look at the actual features that should be in there. But before we start that, we should have a brief look at one project that we quite recently launched. It's a website for a university in Norway, and it felt like a perfect fit for us since we have lots of media house experience, where we've been working closely with journalists and you know, the whole ecosystem, and this specific Høgskolen i Volda, which is called in Norwegian. Please repeat. No, you don't have to. Is actually by far the most profiled universities that actually educate journalists. So it was a great project for us, and it's been a good site. And when we started the discussion with them, you know, hey, what are we building? What do we need? They had a list like this. Well, editor experience is really great, very important for us. It has to be like, people will have to want to go in and create content. They have to want it, yeah. And they needed one common structure for all the content. There were loads of editors. They needed study pages, study topics below that. They needed a workflow for editors. And obviously they would need some, you know, employees listing, things like that. And of course, loads of integrations. So we started roughly sketching out some needs. We needed the courses, a list of that, and a single page. Some employees, departments, research projects, student service, a great article layout thingy, flexible landing pages, and then events and jobs and things like that. So, if you have a room full of professors working at a university, they all have, you know, loads of opinions on how things should be to make it understandable, effective, and flexible. So we knew that we had to build something that were easy to use. We needed a robust search engine. We needed performance, also like AMP for articles in Google. And it had to be ready for multilingual. Because they usually, universities have students from all over the world. It had to be performance friendly, so it really could compete there. And it had to be like ready, compliant to the WCAG 2.0 specification. And universities, they always have loads and loads and loads of content. So we needed to provide some great tools for being able to maintain that in years. And we needed a good way of providing a permissions hierarchy, like for different sections of the site and so on. And also we were planning to add some Norwegian specials, as we're calling them, like mountains and so on, you know. Yeah, you got them as well, I know that. We have a Christine integration, which is basically a national database for published articles and books and content by researchers and so on. And we're integrating with that, fetching those lists and showing them straight in Drupal. And really fun part of that is that it's a database that's actually always updated. Because if the researchers doesn't put their things in there, yeah, well, they don't get the funding they need. So it's always updated to the very last. MWeb, it's a separate solution for building, managing study pages and courses with the workflows and everything like that. It's actually also built on Drupal by another company in Norway. And then there are authentication integrations, which like FIDE, which is a single sign-on solution in Norway, and LAP integration for synchronizing user data.
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the previous presentation about the backend that can be very long. Just dropping in founder admin, you can have like half of that size slashed. You get some cleanup. Descriptions going to tooltips. We also did some alignments and used like more than one column to save some space. And we do this not only on profile, but wherever we see fit in like big forms. We try to make a better use of the of the space we have there.
And basically, people are searching everywhere. We obviously need some strong, something like Solar for providing a good search experience front end. But there are also loads of search fields in the back end. And we're using libraries like Chosen for some fields also to make it easier to find your way around in large hierarchies. A very basic example is, of course, the front-end search you'll find on top there. But of course, then you also have the regular back-end search when you're searching for some piece of content in the content list. But that's not even half of it. Because as soon as you want to link to some page, for example, well, then you're provided with a different live search interface like this one, which is a standard one. But the problem here is that it seemed to only show 10 results. So let's say you have a university. And you obviously have thousands of articles containing the word studies, things like that. And you, for many subdivisions, you want to link to the main studies page list. And then it's obviously not great that when you write studies in here, well, you simply won't find that. That's a problem. So we're using Linkit for many situations where you get the same kind of live search, but it's categorized on content types and even media entities. So you can scroll infinitely down if you like, but hopefully you don't need to. And here you basically see a menu selector where you choose the parent element for the structure as where you are currently. And if you have a huge structure, well, then it's problematic. You don't want to scroll through like 100 menu elements in a drop-down. So Chosen helps you do that with the same kind of live search to find the page you're looking for. So what we're currently working on and discussing then is, okay, how can we sort of provide the user experience across all this search field to provide sort of a UX consistency between interfaces like this. So, to get going, how many are Drupal developers in here now? Yeah. So, all of you, at some point, you've downloaded a module or a distribution and you got the standard. Yeah. So, where is it? What did I just install? How does it work? And so on. Well, we all want great demo content. You just want to install it and view a perfectly working site with all you need. And the demo content itself, yeah, it should highlight the different features of the distribution. So we're planning for that. And we built a theme which well, currently is ready and up and working on our demo site. So you can check out the front end for that there. And Rob can get into the details.
Yeah, also, yeah, we want to provide a starter theme that you can actually use, or you can even make your own. So our plans is to also to provide a Skyfall utility, so you can make a theme skeleton based on that. And also the features we are building is all decoupled from the team. We are actually in the process of extracting features from that team to modules. So if you decide to build your own module from scratch, you still have, you can expect the same behavior and the same features on the front end, regardless of the team.
Yep. So let's look at the media browser. It already looks great from Thunder. But the entity browser, when you just out of the box, you get, maybe not the kind of filtering that you need. It's quite small tweaks, but what you're presented with after installing it is like you can filter on published and not published images. And if it's not on the intranet, that's not really helping you much, since most of it will be published anyway, if it's images, stuff like that. And you're able to search on file name. So basically most of them will be like img3546.jpg, something like that. So we basically just swapped that, changed it a bit, made it possible to choose your type and search for the name field and description, and a small checkbox, which it's very easy, but it's really helpful. It's not easy to see what it says there. It's show only reusable images for stock photos. It's a small checkbox. So whenever people are uploading things that could be nice as a general, like a pattern for a background, for a banner, for example, you just check, yeah, this is reusable, people can use this. And makes it very easy for content editors when they go into this university thingy and they have an event that they want to have tomorrow, just to say, okay, let's just find the reusable stuff. Very handy, but very easy also.
Yeah, we basically build up upon existing Thunder features. So we just extended the standard Thunder article for articles. We just reorganized the fields into some groups. We had the chosen library for tags and categories. It saves a lot of space there. Yeah, we moved some non-content fields to the sidebar, and we tweaked some alignments there.
Yeah. And so, it's the general Thunder setup. But what we're doing is for both the article content type and also for a more generic page content type, we are using the same widgets, like paragraph widgets. We made about 8 to 10 of them, different variations. And basically they will, from the back end, give you something like this. Like the area up front here is a banner. You have a variation for following the grid or doing the hero variation of full width. We have a link widget in the middle here, where you can click to see a feature summary, all the features listed, and that same link coming again there. Yeah, bad joke. We're working on the content there. There is a widget down here which is basically fetching all new content coming in. You can filter by different content types. So in this particular case, we're showing events listed here.
Yeah, it's we apply the same concepts to the other content types. So yeah, we follow the same grouping. Yeah, we just remove and hide secondary UI elements. For example, one common case we see a lot is like the WYSIWYG always have like those filters, those explanations that nobody actually uses. So we just say, okay, the WYSIWYG will be this format, and we just hide all that stuff, and we save a lot of space there. We also again had some minimal alignments. Yeah, we do the same for all the content types. This particular content type, in this particular case, is fetching dynamic data. So those options are from other service, like the MWeb service Thor was talking earlier. Yeah.
So the short-term roadmap now is to obviously make some code available so people can start playing around with it. We're making this composer template based on Drupal project. We want to set up a proper demo site. It's actually already out there. It's on demo.drupaluniversity.org. So you can have a look at it and play around with it. But we're still working on the content part of that, just to make it perfectly great. And then we're creating the basic documentation for the development there. And after that, get some feedback from the community, you guys. So yeah, you can have a look at the demo.drupaluniversity.org site already, if you'd like. We could show you a demo as well in the backend, but there is no time now, so let us know if you'd like to see that, and we can have a look together. So,
join the Thunder Coalition now. Spread the word, contribute, and benefit.